my dear friends, a very good morning. Here we go on a Wednesday morning, middle of the week. I'm George Grant. Let me say thank you so much for joining us for today's edition of Gudday Grenada. Again, pretty nice looking morning out there, and of course, it gets even better, when we realize that you're out there in the audience, anxious to find out what's going on in the Spice Isle. Thank you so much for coming. Needless to say, today we're going to continue with word on this impasse that's been plaguing us for the past couple of weeks between the unions and the government of Grenada. However, I got to be honest with you. This morning, I think I'm not going to use the word rejoice, but I think we have pretty darn good reason to be a little bit more optimistic than we have been for the past little while. It seems like there's some movement taking place, and we're just going to have to keep our pinkies crossed and hope that everything does pan out. Okay? 1 minute after 9 o'clock, let's get right into it. First of all, let me let you know that following yesterday's meeting between the government and the trade unions, I spoke by telephone with two union leaders. Very curious about what went on at that meeting yesterday between government and the unions. The two people I spoke with were Rachel Roberts, who's the president of the Public Workers Union, and Andre Lewis, who is the president of the Grenada Technical and Allied Workers Union. Okay? And they too were upbeat about what took place yesterday. Give a listen.
Today, Brother Grant, the meeting was a very cordial, amicable one. There was mutual respect on the table, and there was good faith in the discussion. And actually, we had reached agreement with the PREC, whereby they would come up with various proposals that they would put forward to us by Tuesday of next week. We should get those proposals. They should also give us some data by Friday of this week, and by Tuesday of next week, some proposals that we can actually look at and discuss as unions and associations, that we would hold a meeting with PEC on the Friday to examine and to hold discussions on with them. So basically, all in all, I would say that the meeting was a fruitful one. We are very hopeful moving forward, and we shall not be moved. As union men, we shall be strong, and our members have given us a mandate, and we shall stay focused on that mandate. We shall not let anything or anyone who is off the table distract us from our goal. We are not opposed to coming with communications as we have told them, but let them come with it. We will discuss what is put on the table.
Okay.
We shall not be disadvantaging our membership in any way, shape, or form. So government must put forward their proposals that they would like, and we would look at it in the interest of our members. We would not disadvantage our members in any way, shape, or form, and we would ensure that anything that is put on the table, when we examine it, must be in the best interest and the mandate given to us by our members. We have given our word at the table to the government that once we are on the table negotiating, we would not hold any industrial action. So we would call off all industrial action as once we are at the table and the negotiations are going fruitfully.
Well, there you have it. That's Rachel Roberts speaking with me by phone yesterday. One of the words she used there that has me so upbeat, hopeful. Kind of warms your little heart there, doesn't it? Now, that's only one person I spoke with. The other person I spoke with was a gentleman by the name of Andre Roberts. Andre was in here just recently with us on one of our Sunday programs. Here is what he had to say, and you'll see that he, too, was kind of upbeat.
In relation to the meeting today, we'd just like to say that the meeting was very amicable. And we are back, well, I wanted to say in the words of Bishop Kai Pave, who was responsible, and I want to repeat, who was significantly responsible for getting us back to where we are, the new table. The discussions were very cordial today, and we look forward to the ongoing discussions that are due to take place. As will be contained in the press release, on Friday, we should get some data that we have requested from the government as the unions and staff associations. By next Tuesday, we should receive a proposal from government, and a meeting is scheduled for next Friday between the Pension Engagement Committee and the unions and staff associations.
There you have it. Again, words like amicable, really provided a little bit of encouragement. So let's keep our pinkies crossed. Now, following that meeting yesterday, the unions and the government decided that they were going to get together and issue a joint statement. Let me read the text of that statement for you. Remember, this was written yesterday, okay? Government's Pension Engagement Committee, the PEC, met today, November 27th, with the public sector trade unions and staff associations engaged in negotiations with government on pension restoration and reform. At today's meeting, it was agreed that the Pension Engagement Committee will provide requested data to the trade unions and staff associations by Friday, November 30th, 2018. It was also agreed that the Pension Engagement Committee will provide new proposals on pension restoration and reform to the trade unions and staff associations by Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. The Pension Engagement Committee and trade unions and staff associations also agreed that negotiations will resume on Friday, December 7th. Further, there will be no industrial action while the negotiations are ongoing. Both the government and the workers' representative bodies have recommitted themselves to finding an amicable resolution to the issue of pension restoration and reform. Okay? Join me. They're talking. Now, time for it. We usually do this on a Monday morning, but we're unable to get it on the air for you on Monday of this week. So right now, I'd like to bring you this week's edition of the Caribbean Literature Quote of the Week.
Brought to you by the Grenada Community Library. Welcome to the Caribbean Literature Quote of the Week. Boy, he said, what have you done this for, boy? This time we're really in trouble. Come, hurry, you fool. But here came Mr. Redmond, the principal, taking extra long strides. This means deep trouble. Boy had created havocs in his wife's classroom. What's all this, Josh? A cow in school? He's not a cow, sir. Said that again? Mr. Redmond said, wiping perspiration from his face. He's a young bull, sir. My pet. A real darling, sir. And harmless, too. He was in our class this morning. And in your class? Yes, Mr. Redmond. The children were gathering around. I don't believe, said the principal. I gave a report and had him right there, said Josh. And it was better. You should have seen my classmates wonder, sir. Their eyeballs were out of their heads, and they gobbled up every word I said. And they all liked Boy so much. Mr. Redmond swallowed. You mean, he said, pointing and swallowing once more. You mean you had that animal in the class giving a report? No, sir. I was the one giving the report, not Boy. And the class liked it. Even Mistress Anthony saw. Oops, Mistress Anthony, eh? I see. Take him out. Out, he pointed. Then meet me in my office. Yes, sir. The principal turned to the gathering, laughing children who had snowballed into a big crowd. "Back to your classes," he said. "Now, every one of you." This was an extract from the fiction book A Cow-Called Boy by C. Everett Palmer. It is available in the George Parfit Caribbean Collection at the Grenada Community Library, located on number 7 Lucas Street, St. George's. Cyril Everett Palmer was born on October 15, 1930 in Jamaica. He migrated to Canada in his later years. He died in June 2013. His stories was inspired by memories of his childhood. He is also the author of Caribbean favorites My Father, Son Johnson, Baba and Mr. Big, and The Cloud with the Silver Lining. The Grenada Community Library expresses its thanks for the kind support of George Grant and GrenadaBroadcast.com. We wish to express our appreciation to the late George Graff Parfit for his generous contribution to the library. We are grateful to have been the recipient of over 1,200 books, all authored by West Indian and Afro-Americans. We invite you to listen every week. Find us online, share and spread the wealth and worth of our literature and authors, and visit the Grenada Community Library to borrow great books for free.
Okay, young man, thank you very much. Folks, that now takes us to 12 minutes after the hour. If you find me a little bit rushed, it's because we are rushed this morning. Let's take a little break. Come back with the national report.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Spread some cheer and show you care with GRENADA's Give-A-Wish promotion. Do you know someone who has had a challenging year and deserves some good fortune, or a worthy cause that needs extra support? Grant them a wish this holiday season with GRENLEC. Just pay your bill in full, then write their name, address, and phone number on the top portion of your bill. Add your phone number and drop it into the wish box at any of our GRENLEC customer centers, or you can enter online via our Facebook page. 15 customers will receive a $500 electricity voucher for giving a wish to someone who deserves it. And 15 winners will each have their wish granted, valued at up to $1,500. What's more, 230 lucky customers will win $75 electricity vouchers. Spread the cheer this year with GRENLEC's Give-A-Wish promotion. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion ends December 21st.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Welcome home.
Public sector trade unions agreed to return to the negotiating table. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Monday, November 26th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. Public sector trade unions involved in the dispute with government over the advanced payment of pension have agreed to return to the negotiating table. That confirmation from Acting Labour Minister Honorable Anthony Boson Invoking his powers under the Labor Relations Act, the acting Labor Minister summoned a meeting of the disputing parties on Monday to discuss arbitration, and the meeting ended with an agreement to resume the pension talks. In a statement, Minister Boson said, and I quote, "I have been reliably informed by the leadership of the trade unions that all industrial action will cease and workers, in particular our teachers, will return to the classroom as of Tuesday, November 27th, unquote. Minister Boson used the opportunity to thank the leadership of the public sector trade unions for their understanding in this matter and for their recognition that the national interest and the interest of the nation's children supersede all other interests. Having just been appointed acting Labour Minister in the absence of the substantive Minister of Labour, Honourable Peter David, he also thanked Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell for the confidence bestowed on him by asking him to serve in such a critical period. His statement ended by saying he is also gratified to have been of some assistance in getting public sector trade unions, and in particular the Grenada Union of Teachers, to cease all industrial action and to return to the bargaining table to seek a permanent solution to the current industrial dispute. Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell was due to travel to Washington this past weekend to attend a conference on building resilience to disaster and climate change in the Caribbean. He chose instead to stay at home, noting the current industrial climate. Minister for Climate Resilience, Senator Simon Steele, is representing Grenada at the Washington meeting.
Or that you have figured out by now that the report you're listening there was yesterday's report, which came in on Monday. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and get yesterday's report, or last night's report, I should say, get that on for you right now. But unfortunately, you're only going to be able to hear the audio. You're not going to see any video.
Between Pension Engagement Committee and trade unions and staff associations to resume on Friday, December 7th. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the national report, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Government's Pension Engagement Committee met today, November 27th, with the public sector trade unions and staff associations engaged in negotiations with government on pension restoration and reform. At the meeting, it was agreed that the Pension Engagement Committee will provide requested data to the trade unions and staff associations by Friday, November 30th. It was also agreed that the Pension Engagement Committee will provide new proposals on pension restoration and reform to the trade unions and staff associations by Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. The Pension Engagement Committee and trade unions and staff associations also agreed that negotiations will resume on Friday, December 7th, 2018. And further, there will be no industrial action while the negotiations are ongoing. Both the government and the workers' representative bodies have recommitted themselves to finding an amicable solution to the issue of pension restoration and reform. An expansion of rooms and more flights to Grenada, a few of the benefits that will come with the acquisition of majority shares in the Grenadian Byrex Resorts by Sunwing Travel Group with its regional hotel brand Royalton. Close to $80 million have been invested in this project. December 1st will witness the rebranding of the Grenadian Byrex Resort to the company's brand Starfish, with the official opening in December of 2019. CEO and President of Sunwing Travel, Stephen Hunter, says they're happy to be partnering with the government to provide the service to Grenada, which will assist in the enhancement of the country's tourism product.
Starfish is one of our many brands that we use throughout the Caribbean. That'll help increase the distribution of the hotel rooms worldwide. It will also help to give a lot more employment this year as well. The biggest news that we've agreed on as of 5 minutes ago is that starting April of this year, the hotel will be shut down and we will be renovating the whole hotel and adding another 60 rooms to the hotel to bring the total inventory up to close to 300 rooms. This is an investment of close to $80 million by the Sunwing Travel Group and will be reopened next winter of 19 as the Royalton Grenada.
Sunning travel will also allow for weekly flights from Toronto to Grenada. Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell says expansion and upgrade of the Grenadian Barracks resorts was high on the government's agenda to boost the hotel sector. He believes that the decision will bring many benefits to Grenada and the tourism industry.
I'm happy that the fact that Stevens Group now has indicated they will be expanding the property. They'll begin serious construction and renovation will be taking place, which will provide enormous amount of jobs.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
When safety on our project is a major priority, of our people a crucial necessity. Accidents happen when road users are either irresponsible or inconsiderate in one way or the other. Play your part. Reduce your speed. Be attentive. It is your personal responsibility. Let 2017 be the start of no more road fatalities. Be safe, be seen, be smart. So let's rise up as a nation. Get to your destination safe.
Continuing the news, public officers will receive 70% of their last salary. That commitment by Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, during a national address on Tuesday. Dr. Mitchell dismissed claims that government has gone back on the terms outlined in the Memorandum of Understanding signed by all parties involved in the pension negotiations. He said the agreement that public officers will receive a pension of not less than 70% of their last salary is still valid. Dr. Mitchell warned against mischievous individuals who are spreading fake news about the current impasse between unions and government on the pension negotiations.
The widely spewed narrative that government has somehow gone back on an understanding outlined in this MOU is certainly fake news generated by mischief makers. Government remains fully committed to ensuring that public officers receive a pension of at least 70% of their last salary. The outstanding issue about pension reform and what is it at the heart of the current impasse is whether and to what extent government can afford an upfront loan to retiring public officers. That is called an advance payment of pension, what is currently being referred to as gratuity.
Dr. Mitchell says government and trade unions will decide on the advanced payment amount, but workers are guaranteed the agreed pension amount will be paid.
Whatever the final loan size and the schedule for repayment at the end of the period, workers will receive all pensions due to them, which is that we have agreed is at least 70% of the last salary. Therefore, sisters and brothers, the suggestion that government's inability to give a 25% loan as an advance payment of pension means that workers will lose is totally false.
An increase in road networking, the launch of the new Tyrrell Bay Port facility, the distribution of Crown lands to citizens' assistance in house repair program, and improvement in agriculture and youth development. Just some of the many projects highlighted by the Minister for Carriacou and Petty Martinique Affairs, the Honourable Kindra Mathurin Stewart, during her contribution to the 2019 budget. Land distribution was a priority following the 2018 election. Minister Mathurin Stewart says it is important that citizens benefit from Crown lands, some of which have already been paid for.
Mr. Speaker, very recently, over 182 persons from Carriacou and Petite Martinique received official letters of authorization to begin the absolute ownership to various lots of Crown land in Carriacou. Mr. Speaker, this has been a very long outstanding matter, dating all the way back, Mr. Speaker, to 2008, Mr. Speaker. In 2008, Mr. Speaker, this government would have approved various persons in Carriacou and Petite Martinique to purchase crown lands. Mr. Speaker, as a result of that, many persons went ahead. Some paid the entire purchase price. Some paid some. Some went to lending institutions. Mr. Speaker, some even started occupation and possession of those lots of land. Mr. Speaker, these lands were taken away by the NDC administration from the people in 2008 when they assumed office. And Mr. Speaker, this issue was one of the first issues that I dealt with upon being elected as the Member of Parliament for Carriacou.
Minister Stewart says the government has invested heavily in the construction of roads both in Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
We also saw the construction of 300 feet of concrete road and drains in the Petite Martinique main road, the Petite Martinique area. We saw, Mr. Speaker, completion of various slipper drains, solution drains throughout the length and breadth of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Mr. Speaker, very recently, 300 feet of concrete road and solution drain was undertaken and completed in the Mount Pleasant area. 300 feet of concrete drain and road and slipper drain, Mr. Speaker, was completed in the Bellevue South area. Speaking about Petite Martinique, Mr. Speaker, over 400 feet of concrete road and a retaining wall was done in Petite Martinique. Mr. Speaker, we had the resurfacing of the Dover Top Road, the resurfacing of the Mount Royal Top Road. We also had rehabilitation work to a community system in Leicester. And Mr. Speaker, presently under construction is a Hillsborough solution drain, the construction of 300 feet of road in the Bossiju area is what we know as the Power Station Road, and the remaining, Mr. Speaker, 650 feet of road in the Bellevue South area. Mr. Speaker, this will actually complete the Bellevue South Road, and it is our hope that this road will be completed in time for Christmas.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability,
Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434. Tell everybody.
Alrighty, folks. Alrighty. I'll tell you what, there's something I'd like to share with you. A couple of days ago, I received, I guess you can call it an opinion piece. Came from a lady by the name of Claudette Joseph. It's published up there on the GreNADABroadCast.com website. But I'd like to spend a few minutes here this morning sharing that with you. It's captioned, "Is negotiated settlement possible?" She says, "So I've slept on that national address by our leader last night, and now, at 3 a.m., I'm up with a hole in my stomach at what is happening to my little beloved country." Friends, has that national address sunk in? We have a situation where the laws of the land, the Constitution, no less, enshrines pension benefits for all public workers. As it now stands, we need pension reform because an attempt at such by the PRG government in 1983, 35 years ago, has been declared unconstitutional by our courts. The first time our courts suggested that the PRG effort was unconstitutional was in 1988, 30 years ago. Then in 1997, in the case of Irvin McQueen versus the Attorney General of Grenada, the court was pellucid in that declaration. Let that sink in. It means since then, all governments knew that they needed to deal with this matter urgently to bring the new regime in line with the Constitution or to set up one that complies with the Constitution. No government did. The Constitution does not prohibit pension reform, but it says any new scheme must not be less favorable than the one being replaced. In the 30 years between 1988 and 2018, our current Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Mitchell, has been Prime Minister for 19 and a half years. Let that also sink in. Various people, including Sir Nicholas Brathwaite, Mr. George Brazan, Mr. Tillman Thomas, served as Prime Minister at different times in the remaining 9.5 years. So it is fair to say that no one has had as good an opportunity as Dr. Mitchell to fix this. He did not. The first set of public officers to be adversely affected by this, in large numbers, are now beginning to retire. So the matter has become critically urgent. Without rectification, large swaths of public officers will retire into poverty. Some will literally lose their homes if they don't find post-retirement work to help supplement their NIS pittance. Against this backdrop, on the eve of the last general elections, government signed an MOU with the unions, and the Prime Minister announced to the nation that they had resolved the pension issue. This announcement gave his party a big boost days before the elections. He and the unions knew this. Now, post-elections, the parties are in dispute as to what was understood and agreed when the MOU was signed and the PM's announcement made. In short, the unions are saying anything less than what obtained before 1983, which, according to the decisions of the courts, is still the law of the land, will be unfavorable and therefore unconstitutional. The government is saying they cannot pay as per the pre-1983 scheme because it will be fiscally damaging to the country. The law is on the union side, but we must recognize that government owes us all a responsibility to act prudent, fiscally prudent, in managing our affairs. So, what then must be the solution? There is nothing wrong or unconstitutional with the parties sitting and working out a formula that will be in line with the Constitution. That is, no less favorable than what now obtains, while at the same time ensuring that the economic consequences are not too dire. It does not have to be 25% or 2%. It does not have to be that all must be paid up front. It just must be a scheme that does not leave the pensioner in a worse off position than he would be if paid under the pre-1983 scheme. What government cannot do is breach or avoid the provisions of the Constitution while hiding behind the Fiscal Responsibility Act. That in itself will be unconstitutional. The unions say that 25% gratuity, an advance payment on pension that is repaid over 12 and a half years, was always what they expected to be a part of the package. Nothing else was discussed. The government says no quantum of gratuity was discussed before, so they are now free to make proposals, and they proposed 2%. Both sides may actually be telling the truth about this, because 25% gratuity is specifically provided for in the law, but can be changed. So, the unions may have assumed that they were working with what the law says, and the government may have assumed that the 25% can be changed to something else that is no less favorable to the pensioners, but more manageable for government. It seems to me that given the basis on which the 25% gratuity is provided for in the law, while 2% may compute to more dollars in the long run, if the pensioner does not die young, that formula is indeed less favorable than what now obtains, and therefore the court may strike it down as unconstitutional. In my view, the unions were correct to reject the offer. Both parties now appear to have adopted inflexible stances, a recipe for disaster when negotiating. After 4 weeks of industrial unrest, the Roman Catholic Bishop of St. George in Grenada intervened, and a new, more experienced MP was appointed to act as labor minister. Between these two gentlemen, the unions, the government, and government were coaxed into returning to the negotiating table. In that context, the unions postponed the strike action it had announced for today, that's yesterday, and this certainly was a good faith gesture on their part. So why then, with the Prime Minister on the eve of the resumption of negotiations, address the nation in the tone that he did? The Prime Minister was belligerent and uncompromising in tone. He sought to rally the public against teachers and public officers. He sought to decide the outcome of the renewed negotiations in advance by repeating and digging his heels in on government's position, thereby sounding a public warning to all involved, especially the Pension Engagement Committee and the acting labor minister. Do it my way or else. At the same time, he openly threatened the teachers that if he didn't have his way, he will change up our entire education system, setting up mass learning centers manned by he and his ministers, and rendering the entire teaching service redundant. As laughable as this suggestion is, we can't just laugh it off, because he did it with a straight face while addressing a national crisis. He even suggested that he and his MPs have already decided what subjects they'd be teaching once all teachers are rendered redundant and this new system is in place. The national address that evening was the type of stuff that men like Hitler, Mussolini, and Mugabe were made of. In times like these, we must scramble for our Constitution and get ready for court. Oh my. We have no court building. Our justice system is in the shambles. We have 3 judges and 1 temporary civil court. Will we be able to get the registrar to open up the registry so that we can file documents against the state on a weekend? Friends, the Constitution is crippled when there is a Mugabe-style leader together with a broken justice system. It is the courts that interpret and enforce the Constitution. Without functioning courts, we are in trouble. But that's how dictators and autocrats work. They weaken democratic institutions, and then they attack, leaving the people exposed. What then do? We stand united together. We resist and fight back fearlessly. We have come too far from 1951 to turn back now. Grenada, that's a piece that was written by a young lady by the name of Claudette Joseph. And just in case it tickled your fancy at any time during the last few minutes, I do suggest that you go to the GrenadaBroadcast.com website. There you'll be able to see that story printed in its entirety. So, Georgie Porgy is now going to take a little break here, and then we'll come back with a little inspiration for you. Hang in there.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Conveniently located in the Grandstand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep,
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Spread some cheer and show you care with Grenlex Give-A-Wish promotion. Do you know someone who has had a challenging year and deserves some good fortune, or a worthy cause that needs extra support? Grant them a wish this holiday season with Grenlex. Just pay your bill in full, then write their name, address, and phone number on the top portion of your bill. Add your phone number and drop it into the wish box at any of our Grenlex customer centers, or you can enter online via our Facebook page. 15 customers will receive a $500 electricity voucher for giving a wish to someone who deserves it. And 15 winners will each have their wish granted, valued at up to $1,500. What's more, 230 lucky customers will win $75 electricity vouchers. Spread the cheer this year with Grenlex Give-A-Wish promotion. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion ends December 21st.
Alrighty, folks, just about time to pull the curtain down on this Wednesday morning. Before I do, I just want to remind you that in the event, and I'm sure that you were, in the event that you folks were driven crazy this morning by the feed up to Facebook, don't worry about it. I know, frustrating, but don't worry about it. Later on today, the program will be up on Facebook, and you can go there, watch it in its entirety. It will also be up on YouTube. I thank those of you who persisted by listening to us on the other platforms, GrenadaBroadcast.com, TuneIn, Radio Genre, and Radio Garden. God bless your little souls. Thank you so much, my dear friends. As we always do, let's part with a word from the Holy Scriptures. And today, it comes to you from Joshua. And by the way, I'm going to claim this one today, big time, big time. Joshua chapter 1, verse 9 says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. And that, my dear friends, is how Georgie Porgy keeps on trucking. Thank you. God bless you, my dear friends. You have yourselves a wonderful day. By His grace, let's do it all over again tomorrow morning at 9. Hopefully, a better day.